Hi friends, it's Carly and I'm back again with another review. Before I get started today, I wanted to answer a question I've been getting a lot here and on other social media, and that is, when am I going to review the Marvel Legends Age of Apocalypse series? Well, the short answer to that question is I wish I knew. So I ordered it a couple of months ago, pre-order, and it was originally projected to ship to me in May 2020. That was almost immediately pushed back to June 2020 after I placed my order, and after checking a couple of days ago, I see now that it has been pushed back again to July 2020. Now, none of this would be such a big deal if I could find the figures in the stores in my area, but I'm not able to. I've been able to find a Morph and a Dark Beast at different stores, but no stores with multiple figures or the entire series, and of course no one is willing to tell me when shipments might be coming in, so I am just waiting for my pre-order in the meantime. I just wanted to let you guys know that I do pre-order all of my figures. I'm interested in retailers that you think might handle my order a little bit more efficiently. I will not be name dropping where I ordered this order from, but if you guys have suggestions, please let me know, and just know that better late than never. As soon as I get those figures, I will be doing the reviews on the series and the Sugar Man. With that all said, I have an amazing BAF series in front of me right now. So I am going to start my review series today on one of my all-time favorite franchises, and that is the Ghostbusters Plasma series. This is one that I am actually going to take a quick look at the box just because I think they did some really fun things with it, and I really appreciate the detail they put in. This is such an iconic series that I really think that if they're trying to do a realistic, highly articulated figure, they should spare no expense, and when I'm starting with the packaging here, it seems like they didn't. So this is a really nice matte finish square box, which I think is great. We've talked about Hasbro not doing that often. They did it with Stan Lee, and I like that they did it here because it makes it stand out, and you see that you're getting something new and different, which is what the Ghostbusters deserve. The best part, though, are the portraits on the side. They are very retro, very artsy, and they really capture the actual physical appearance of each Ghostbuster, but also his personality in the film. So I really like these, and I'm actually going to look for a way to, I'm probably going to cut this off and find a way to display this with my set because I think that it's such an awesome detail. And each box also includes the name badge of the character that it contains. So as you can see, today we are going to start with Egon Spengler, my favorite Ghostbuster, and we are going to go over his overall appearance, sculpt, and painting. We'll look at his accessories, and then we will go over points of articulation. This figure came with the leg of, oh, just to show you guys, the BAF is Vinz Clortho, the Devil Dog, and we're gonna do the Ghostbusters first. That's each one of his legs, and then we'll get into the other figures. So he came with a leg. And when we're starting at the top, it's really important for me, not just because Egon is my personal favorite character, but because Harold Ramis is Ghostbusters. So for those of you who don't know, Harold Ramis, Dan Aykroyd, and Rick Moranis wrote the script, and all three went on to star in the film. So for me, he really is sort of part of the heart and soul of the series, not just his character, but Harold Ramis the person. And I think that this facial sculpt pays him a really great tribute. It's clearly him in profile, head on. Everything from his hair to his glasses to his mouth to his pronounced jawline is very clearly Harold Ramis as Egon. And that is so important to me because he became one of my favorite directors, one of my favorite actors. He has since passed, and this is really a legacy, and Ghostbusters is a legacy of his, and I think that it's important that they pay him correct tribute, and I think that they did with the sculpt on this character, so that makes me really happy. And they also did a really great job of staying true to the jumpsuit as it was in the film. So there are no extra bells and whistles. They didn't try to overdo it. They didn't try to modernize it, which is great. They kept it to what it was, which is a simple jumpsuit over clothing with the Ghostbusters symbol here, the simple name badge that is clearly stitched together, the very 80s white utility belt, simple black elbow plaids, gloves, and black boots. And that's that on that, and it should be. So I really appreciate that the jumpsuit is exactly what it's supposed to be, and the sculpt makes it clear that there are clothes underneath here, which I think is important because they had such a bulky, funny look with the jumpsuit on that if that were missing, I think that it would really be a big oversight. So the sculpt on the jumpsuit is also really, really great, and you can see that he's got his shirt on underneath. So we know that this is something that he threw on and went out to bust ghosts. The proton pack itself is highly detailed. We can see the particle accelerator has all types of lights, wires, knobs, contraptions, and the wand itself comes out. We'll look at that a little bit closer in a second. But they spared really no expense on the detail of the proton pack. And his other accessory is the PKE meter, which is tiny and not very highly detailed, but clearly a PKE meter. You can tell what it is, and I think it's great that Egon came with this accessory because he was always sort of getting up into people's business with the PKE meter. So I really like that that's what he came with. So now to look at the proton pack accessory separately from the figure, I will show you how it sits on his back and how we take it off. So when you're looking at the pack itself, you can see that it has shoulder and waist harnesses, which keep it firmly in place, which is great, but begs the question, how do we get it off? So under the left arm here is a pin, and it very simply snaps out, just like that. It's very easy to maneuver, and that lifts the whole harness away from his body. In addition to that, there is a peg that goes into his back, which keeps it mounted, upright, and in place. So we can snap that off simply. It just comes right off. And then you are free to lift the harness over his head like this and slide him right out. So the pack is very functional. It goes on and stays in place the way that it should with this little snap. We don't have any concerns when you're moving and bending these slight little straps. There's no sense that they might break or bend or snap or anything like that. They're very durable, so it should be really easy to put this on and take it off a bunch of times, and the peg helps keep everything in place sturdily. The wand, we can look at that a little bit closer. It really doesn't have as much detail as I think I'd like to see, although there probably wasn't very much detail on the wand itself. But I am really sad that there isn't a firing accessory. So there's no sort of blast accessory that comes with it. I think that is an oversight, and I think it would have been easy to include, but that is really the only oversight. Overall, the proton accelerator, the proton pack and wand look really, really great, and they functionally sit on the figure really nicely. So I like that accessory. Those are the only two accessories he came with, so now we're going to get into points of articulation. When we start at the top with the head, he has really easy movement right and left and all the way around. One thing that I am a little bit disappointed about is that the movement up is pretty slight, which when they are actually out using their proton packs and catching ghosts, it always seems that they were sort of looking up at the ghost that they were after. And I kind of wish that he could look up a little bit higher. He does have a slight upward motion to the head, but I do wish that there was more just so that you could make that type of pose. Although without the blast accessory, I don't know if that's something that will be on the plate or on the table, but just a thought. I do wish that he could look up a little bit higher, but that's fine. He looks up a little bit and he looks down. So the head is great. We have nice, easy lateral motion in his shoulders. He's got turning in his bicep here. Double jointed elbows that are incredibly stiff but do bend all the way. And then when we're looking at his hands here, we see that, let's see, his wrists turn, but they do not bend forward or back. So I think that that is an oversight. That is a pretty standard thing to see on every figure nowadays, and it's really disappointing that that little detail was left off, although I think it's probably because these hands are perfectly suited to use the wand on the proton pack It probably is the main reason why, but still, every figure comes with that, and this one should too. So that's a little bit disappointing. But it is nice to see that although the elbows are very stiff, that the elbow pads do not hinder the double jointed elbows from working, and they still look pretty good. So that's great. The next point of articulation is in the waist. He turns 360 degrees in the waist. There's no movement in the abdomen or the torso here, which is fine. There's no really need for that, and especially with his pack on his back, that really wouldn't work, so that makes sense to me. His legs go out all the way and forward and back all the way with ease. He's got turning here in the thigh, which is great. It moves smoothly and all the way around. He's got double jointed knees, but these are incredibly stiff and quite frankly look pretty funny when they're bent all the way. It does not look like a leg anymore. It really doesn't resemble a leg at all. You might be able to say it's because of the puff, what I was talking about earlier, the puffy jumpsuit with clothing underneath, that it's a little bit bulkier, but to me, this is like some kind of cyborg looking. It's very strange. So the double jointed knees work. They're incredibly stiff, and they're also weird looking. So I don't know how I feel about those. But I think the most important thing is functionality, and they do function properly. And then the foot itself, there's no weird turning in the boot, thank goodness. And the feet bend back, they bend forward, and they turn on a sort of 360 degree axis like this. So we have nice ankle rolling, the way a ball and joint or a ball and socket joint works. So overall, the movement of this figure is great. He should be highly posable without his proton pack. With his proton pack, you should be able to put the wand in his hands. He does have a trigger finger on his left hand so that you can pose him holding it either just on his back or holding the wand itself. And the best part of this figure though for me, really truly from top to bottom, everything that he offers is the sculpt on the face. As I've said, Harold Ramis is someone that I really admire. I feel like he's such a great part of the heart and soul of Ghostbusters that getting his face wrong would be kind of a travesty, and I don't think they missed the mark with him at all here. So I am actually really excited and really happy to have this figure. There are a little bit of, there are some issues with the articulation that kind of bother me a little bit, but having him sitting on my shelf looking as incredible as he does is enough for me. This is the best Ghostbusters figure I have. I have never invested in any of the more expensive ones, but this might be something that I look into. Let me know if you guys have recommendations. I also have the retro Ghostbusters that recently came out, and if you'd like, I can go through those. I wasn't going to open them, but now that I have these, I kind of like the idea of having the real Ghostbusters cartoon next to the movie Ghostbusters. Let me know what you guys think of that, and if you want me to do a full review of the real Ghostbusters retro figures. All of that said, this Harold Ramis Egon Spengler is gorgeous, and I can't wait to put him on my shelf, and I have very high hopes for the rest of the figures in this line. Next time we'll be looking at Ray, and if you guys have any suggestions for other Ghostbusters, let me know. Let me know if you guys want me to do the real Ghostbusters retro figures. I have yet to get Stay Puft and Slimer, so if you have any lines on where I might find those, please let me know. I've been checking my stores. No luck, go figure. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I'm really loving your comments, your recommendations, your suggestions. As our subscribers go up, we're getting closer to getting another giveaway going, so please keep that in mind. Let your friends know about Annoying You with Friendship, the channel, and we are rebooting the website. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for everything, and I will be back soon with another video. Have a great day. Bye, friends.